of them to make the puzzle pieces fall into place. Then we offer our program at Mbombela. Breitenbach is the academic manager that side. We have Dorette van der Merwe, Suzanne Jacobs, Lebo Gamatole, and Katie Baer, who is also responsible for the lecturing that side. As you can see, they live close by the Big Five Kruger National Park. So when we go for graduation ceremonies that side, it's always beautiful to, sorry about that, I just want to delete that, to visit the Kruger National Park. Okay, so yes, let's start with the department, that you have a bit of an interesting view of what we do within the department. So this meeting is really not a formal meeting like we had in the past with an agenda and all standing items and all that type of things. Because we have all 5 programs together this year, I want to make it short and sweet. And if you have any questions afterwards, please feel free to contact me. So we have 5 programs within the Department of Marketing, Supply Chain and Sport: Marketing, Supply Chain Management, Sport Management, Business Management, and Recreation Management. The Marketing, Supply Chain and Sport qualifications all have diplomas, advanced diplomas, postgraduate diplomas, masters and doctoral qualifications within it. Retail Business Management only have diplomas and advanced diplomas for now, and unfortunately the recreation program is phasing out. So we're just finalizing the final old qualification, but who knows, it might be back if demand in the market changed. Then our student profile within the department, in 2019, we took the numbers of 2019 to be more exact, was 3,870. The majority of the students were serviced on the Pretoria campus, then 485 at Mbombela campus, and then we also service various qualifications of other faculties on Polokwane campus, Soshanguve campus, Arts campus, and the Ga-Rankuwa campus. And you can see the division between male and female is very close, so we're very happy about that. So Tammy is sitting next to me now, so she's listening to my next to me. Sorry, just give us a second. Thank you, Tammy. And we have 14 disabled students within the department, and the majority of the students study diplomas, 129 degrees, and a postgraduate diploma we have 67, 21 masters and 5 doctoral students. In 2019, 926 students graduated on the Pretoria campus, with 792 got diplomas, 92 degrees, 2 masters, 1 doctorate, and we got 39 postgraduate diplomas. So that was the first year what we basically offered the postgraduate diplomas, and therefore the high number as well. And then some staff members also obtained nice qualifications. It was the Hakahilia University of Applied Sciences that we all enrolled for a postgraduate diploma in teaching. It's a vocational teacher qualification, so we graduated last year. And as you can see, Dr. Pavey and Haley is on the photo with me and Dr. Sarah. Dr. Pavey is the one with the dark hair, and she's also joining us all the way from Finland today. And myself and Dr. Sarah continued our studies with the Hakahilia University after the postgraduate diploma. Dr. Sarah is doing a trainer-trainer program with them, and I'm doing my master's in education management with them. Then other qualifications that we also have within the department is the retail motor industry, that we basically have a formal industry qualification for them. They selected the diploma in retail business management to train all over 3,000 members of their body, and this will be a distance qualification, and we're really privileged that they selected our university. Then other short programs and certificates that we offer: stock data, simulation, effective communication, and the use of data in retail. This is for all industry qualifications. We have memorandums of understanding with the following institutions: the Indonesian Banking School, the International Islamic University of Malaysia, the University of Trento, Botha University, the Blue Bulls, and the National Treasury. Okay, guys, we just want to relocate quickly. Just give me 2 seconds. the noise levels is currently not in favor of my presentation. Then, another MOU that we have is with the, yes, as I mentioned previously, is with the retail motor industry. And there is the MOU that we signed with Prof. Makola on the left and Mr. Van Heesteenson that we signed the MOU with. So this was quite a big event for the university. Then further on, Erasmus University offered training for our staff members that's involved in the retail motor industry qualification. RISPO, the Research Training Consultancy, a division within Erasmus University, presented the training for us. It was Dr. Gerard Baas and Mr. Chris Stabel that presented the training. So this training basically came at the right time in, I think it was November last year, seeing that we applied all of this, all that we have learned that day or that week rather, we could have applied now when we changed to online qualifications. Some other photos, what we did, environmental that we also had a nice collaboration with. Then you will see the two gentlemen in red t-shirts, and that's Dr. Jan Volkert with the glasses, and he's also joining us all the way from the Netherlands. And then Mr. Kanyile in the middle, who presented some recreational stuff for us, as well as Dr. Gerard Baas on the right. I'm also involved with them for a South African academic leadership program offered through Groningen University as well as Erasmus University, so that's how they fit into this nice picture. Then at the bottom left, you'll see Prof. De Jager with the ambassador of Indonesia, as well as Dr. Nuri. We have a collaboration, as mentioned earlier, with the Indonesian Banking School, and she's also my research partner. Then we have Prof. De Jager, Prof. Ru, and then you also see the gentleman with the nice grey beard, Prof. Italo. He's also joining us all the way from Italy. So we have nice industry collaborations, and it's not just seeing them, meeting them. We do really do research with them, and we take time and industry visits and all that type of things with them. Then we are members of the following: the South African Marketing Association, Research Association, SAMRA, SIPS, Chartered Institute of Supply Chain and Procurement, AMASA, WNR-CETA, and the Marketing Association of South Africa. Then we had some very nice industry collaborations, and we pride in this because industry plays a huge role within our department. So the best one or the biggest one that we had was with HAL, and we continue with collaborations even through ITR Technologies, Dis-Chem, Coca-Cola, City of Tshwane, Oracle, and so on. Then internships. These companies also approach our department for industry placement and internships for our students. Again, L'Oreal helped us a lot with this one, Woolworths, CAT-CETA, even the National Lotteries Commission placed some students of ours. So yeah. This was quite, it's one of the most important things for us to make sure that our students do get industry experience, and getting companies like this involved to place our students, it's one of the best things to prepare them for the job market. Then work integrated learning, we have simulation will within our department as well as project-based learning. Due to our high numbers, as you've seen in the previous slides, it's difficult to place all students in industry. Therefore, we have work integrated learning through simulation will. We think it's we know it's a hands-on approach of the work environment that facilitate and increase knowledge and understanding of the subject matters that they're actually studying. The opportunity to practice the fundamental skills and to apply the theoretical knowledge into practice is what they achieve through this type of simulation will. The development of career skills to obtain for job placement and to prepare them and to be ready for the job market, really these companies assist us with that. Okay, we know it does not reflect the complexity of the real life situations, but at the end of the day, what these students are learning from these companies is very valuable. So basically what we do, just to give you a brief summary, is these companies come, they present, say for instance, a specific scenario or opportunity or problem, what they experience, and then the students have to go and basically develop some kind of, say for instance, an advertising plan, a marketing plan, conduct research for them, whatever the needs are for these specific companies. And like, for instance, Sportsmax, as you see on the right-hand side, wanted to get their products in game stores and so on, and our students had to conduct research on behalf of that, and at the end of the day, they succeeded with that, and they're also now part of USN. Then we also have project-based, well, where this example I select is for our sports students. We ask them basically what they need to do is to plan a whole sporting event. They can choose any sporting code. It can be netball, soccer, rugby, anything, table tennis, whatever, the squash, it doesn't matter. So they need to plan that, to market this event. They need to get spectators. They have to get team players that's actually playing against each other. And normally it's the hostels that partake in this. They have to have an award ceremony. They have to have, say, for instance, first aid, assistance, all of that type of things that you will have at a normal sporting event. As you can see, and Dr. Sarah and Chanel Meyer basically act as the judges, and you can see they also plan, they like have food and water for them ready and everything. So they really go above and beyond, and this type of experience is unbelievable, and it's real life, and it's really, they benefit and they enjoy it. We make learning fun, at least. Then sports foundations that we belong to, some of our members, is the Masai IC that discussed the Semenya Sport Foundation. Refilwe Jane, she's a well-renowned soccer player, and Tiani Mabunda is from the Mamelodi Sundowns. So these foundations basically provide opportunities for disadvantaged students or poor communities to expose students or learners or children at schools to opportunities that in sport. And yeah, this has really been a very successful approach, and Dr. Sarah and her team is also very involved in this great. Oh, sorry. I must get used to this new one. He's involved in a lot of interesting, the Christian camping of South Africa, World of Leisure, all of these societies as well. As you can see, he's a quite active participant. And so if you want to do something exciting, something adventurous, you know to contact Dr. Snyman, because he will definitely help you to get over your fear of heights. And I'm trying, I will one day go and visit him for, yes, to climb some walls and stuff. Anyway. Community engagement that we were involved in, or still are involved in, is Pop-Up. Dr. Snyman and myself are involved in the People Upliftment Program. So we basically go and teach disadvantaged students, learners from society, and to, say for instance, business ethics, communication skills, all that type of things, to equip them to go further in life, entrepreneurial skills, and that type of thing. So this is a real special project to us both. In our Nelson Mandela Day, I'm not sure if MMC Vandenberg is on the line, but anyway, I hope so. He will commit to this next Nelson Mandela Day for 2021, definitely, I hope so. It was very successful. We had a whole campus cleanup, and Coca-Cola was part of it. All the students got Coke. They got like T-shirts, and the Department of Environmental Affairs were there, and as well the city of Tshwane was there to help us, to assist us with this big cleanup program and project. That was really something very insightful and good. And clean. And clean. Yes, Prof. You're right. She's sitting next to me here. And then we also had the Pretoria West grade 7 learners at our university in our prestige auditorium. We treated them with nice hot dogs and cool drink and everything. And the purpose helped them with the selection of the, so that they choose the right subjects going forward when they want to come and study. Of course, we marketed marketing, supply chain, sport, recreation, retail, of course, with marketers, we have to. So yeah, but it was really, it's unbelievable, the positive energy that we experienced from this, and we helped them, the grade 11 learners as well to register for qualifications that they want to come and study. We give them labs and access and to assist them with the whole process. So this is quite a very special dear project to us all. Then we also basically attended some good courses like the Not in My Name campaign that was held last year as well. And then other female empowerment projects and that we participated in, Women in Leadership Forum and that type of thing. So yeah, we really have a lot of strong ladies within this department as well. And yes, then we are also a bit crazy and different. We like to dress up. The weird people on the bottom left and top right is basically, it was for the Haga Julia Pavey. You will definitely recognize this. That's all about changing education, making education fun in the classroom as well, to think out of the box. And yes, that was for the rugby as well, there at the top. And then there's some recreational activities that also took place. Additional photos to show you with programs that we did, career plans and stuff like that. Okay. So what did we do and how did we survive 2020? Okay, it's still going on, we know. But when COVID came and knocked on our doors, we were all like the same as you all, we're in the same boat. It was this giant that we did not know how are we going to get over this. It was unexpected, but that's life, eh? So we decided we always have two choices in life, and we decided, you know what, we're going to fight back. Even though this giant is massive, even though we're in lockdown, we cannot leave and lose this academic year of 2020. So yeah, we had to break that door, or let me say wall, of the mentality of only contact classes, traditional teaching pedagogies. We have to change our mindset if we want to survive the academic year of 2020. So yeah, of course, what we have learned is resistance to change is always the biggest obstacle. And yeah, the big wall of uncertainty was in front of us because we all are used to contact classes at the university. So we were scared to look over the wall to see what's going to happen to the future. What are we going to do? All the ladders that we tried to climb over and then it fell. It's like there was no real guidance. It was very confusing for us all, and uncertainty wasn't really nice for us all at that stage. So, as I said, if we don't challenge the way things have always been, we never discover the greatest breakthroughs of our futures. So what we had to do, we had to close the door of all the old skeletons, old way of thinking, old teaching pedagogies that we use, the traditional comfort zones, all of that. That represents all of the skeletons. I know it's a scary picture, but still it's cute, I think. Anyway, it represents what we want to do, the old way of thinking. We had to close that door. So none of us currently are fortune tellers within the department, so we didn't know what the future will hold, even though people were asking, Elisma, do you think we go back this week? I don't know, or we used for now, we are doing this way, because tomorrow it might change again. So what we had to do, we had to think out of the box. So we evaluated all our options. Online tools, the classes, the continuous, are we going from exams to continuous exams? What about the data? The students don't have data to access online tools. What about devices? How are we going to catch up? How are we going to save this 2020 academic year? So, of course, we are also strategic thinkers. So we evaluated all our options along with the university management, but they came a bit later. We were the leaders, let me say so. They were skeptical of our thinking in the beginning, but we are the flagship of many things within the faculty and in the university. So we had the option of going fully online, okay, for now, or wait for everything to pass, go back to class, or just choose blended learning for now. So with that said, we had to bury the traditional teaching pedagogies, the traditional way of thinking, and we have to say hello to the new technology tree of Brightspace, Padlet, Flipgrid, Video Puppet, Poplet, Mentimeter, Quizlet, all of the nice type of things, and Microsoft Teams that we're currently using. So what did we do? Along with the university, but they used our department, of course, as the guinea pig or pilot for this project because we were ahead of our time again, so but that was quite good. So we provided all students in our department, I mean it was 3,800 and something, I'm not sure, with a study pack. Now a study pack basically consists out of the study guide, additional learning materials, all the information, the slides, everything that they would have got online, and the assignments and envelope to mail back the assignment, because remember now some of our students, the demographics of our students, some of them are located in rural areas and there's no data or no signal rather that they can access the online content. So we really had to mail all these study packs physically to all our students. But then at least they also got free data. I think it was 20 gig data to access our online content. So that helped us a lot so that we can actually start with the online classes and that type of things, because the main thing is we didn't want to leave any student behind. So that was quite, I must say, a great. I know COVID was bad, the lockdown is bad, everything is bad, but still now we are online operating as well. So we made a few changes to cope. We decided we need to think ahead. We do not know what life will hold for us all. So we decided already in August, okay, to change our written assignments or written examinations to continuous assessments, meaning that the students will submit 6 assessments, it can be assignments, tests, whatever, during the year in order to ensure that they can finish the academic year. Because as you all know, I think it was last week when the exams start, there was again strikes and stuff like that because students felt they are not prepared, what I can fully understand, because they haven't written any tests. Now you expect them to write an exam. That's not fair. So we did a survey monkey amongst all our students and asked them, what do you feel, you guys? Do you want written exams or continuous assessments? And they said continuous assessments. So we always get their inputs as well before just making a decision. So yeah, the blended learning thing is still going on. We do have our contact classes. We came back, I think, somewhere in September, yes. So, but the low numbers, the students, not all of the students have returned yet to campus. So we go to class, we still lecture, but we also put the content online for those who haven't returned. I think a lot of them are scared to come back to campus, maybe. There's various reasons. They started working, they have to look after their parents and stuff for financial reasons and so on as well. So our academic year will only start the 2021 one in April 2021. At the end of the day, what we've learned out of this whole thing is don't be afraid of change, because it's leading you to a new beginning. So we really embraced this giant that we faced, but we are now like understanding each other, and for now, let me say so, it's supposed to. We also had, we lost a loved one during this time as well. On the 16th of July, Dr. Ben van Rensburg passed away of COVID as well. He was a few years back the previous head of department. He was a mentor, a researcher, a unique academic, a great leader. And yeah, so I had to put him in here because he really changed a lot of our lives and we dearly miss him. Okay, how did we cope and how are we still coping? We are continuously doing online training on the new platform that we have, on digital tools to enhance our skills. So we worked and trained a lot. And then, of course, continuous communication via WhatsApp the whole time, you guys, it was like, but it kept us sane, because during the lockdown, we also took some nice photos of our pets or our children, whatever, just to show what's happening in our lives, just to show we're still sane and living. And yes, we also, life is too short, and what can we do? So Dr. Sarah and her recreation team, all the recreation staff there on the screen, decided with this great initiative, we also followed it. Together we can overcome any challenge ahead of us. Stay safe, stay home. And at the end of the day, the students soon followed in this as well, and with the same campaign. And there is our staff, full-time staff members. A few of them weren't there that day when we took the photos. So sorry if you're not on the photo, but I must say, if you look at each one of them on this photo, they really contribute to the success of this department, as well as the part-time staff members. I don't see them as part-time staff members. I see them as part of the team. We are a team. We're not like different people, whatever, doing something here at the university. So each and every one of them have a good heart. They care about the students, they're student-centered, they cope through these hard times, and although things got tough, whatever, we stood by each other, we still, we stayed strong. And today I want to make use of this platform to say thank you guys for each and every one of you. I'm looking in your faces right now on this photo, and really I appreciate you more than you will ever know. Without you, I wouldn't have become the person and leader. Thank you very much. So now, any questions? Hello, can you still hear me?
Yes, we can
hear you.
Yes,
great. Thank you. Okay, we've got a hand of TJ Njozela.
Yeah.
That's me. I want to say firstly, thank you very much for taking us through this. It's quite insightful, and it shows how you guys are thinking of ways to tackle, I suppose, the detrimental effect that COVID has had on pretty much everybody. I can only imagine how it's been for you guys as lecturers who are educating people to have to change from a traditional way of doing it, where they're in front of you on a daily basis, where they're used to being examined and assessed in a space where physical contact, well, not physical contact per se, but where there isn't a social distancing situation going on. So I think the way that you guys approach it is really, really cool. I have a few questions, right? And it's particularly on the workplace integrated learning, and also in terms of the department and the faculty itself and the role that it plays within the institution. So the first question is, in terms of the learning that they get because it's sort of like simulations, I suppose, right? That you have the partnerships with different brands and entities, where then the students get given problems or challenges that they need to work through or solve. Are any of those things, are they all sort of simulations, or are they actual business problems that they are given to solve? That's the first question. And then the second question is, in speaking, and I suppose I was just starting to think as we were speaking as well. What I sort of realized is two things. Is that one, there's actually a huge opportunity for the institution itself, being TUT, to reposition itself, but that is something that you guys can use the students to do, because then it would be a real life example and a real life thing that they are working on, and a project that could also help to move change people's perceptions and also reposition the institution as a whole. You could also do it on a departmental level or a faculty level, but there's huge opportunity to actually help them to learn and understand things using what's already there, and just getting industry experts to maybe supervise that and oversee that or guide them through it. Yeah, those are my two questions, essentially. So one is, are the workplace integrated learnings just simulations, or is it real life examples? And two, have you ever considered using the institution itself as a way in order to get students the the experience that they need.
Okay, thank you for the question, sir. I appreciate it. Yes, all of the simulation is real-based problems. The companies that we use in our simulated work integrated learning is they actually come with real problems that we need to solve for them. It will not necessarily be a problem. It can be opportunity where they want to say, for instance, like a few years ago, Food Corp as well approached our university or our department where we had to test the different Mageo type of flavors. So it's about new product development. We actually do, and all of these type of simulation, even though it sounds simulation, it's real life type of things. We actually make use of, we monitor the students, but we also give them the freedom and creativity that to use and think out of the box. We guide them, the lecturers involved in, say, for instance, the 30 level guide them to make it realistically that we are not, say, for instance, that the company give us a certain budget with regard to advertising, and they want us to do a basic advertising campaign or stuff like that, then we know we cannot go for billboards or TV, we need to go for radio or whatever the case may be. Definitely make use of real scenarios, real business problems and situations in our simulation. Then with regards to your second question, we definitely differentiate ourselves as a department specifically. A lot of companies do approach us to use our students for internships and for employment because of the fact that we have our theory in our qualifications, but we also bring in this work integrated learning component that makes us different. The other day, the Minister of Higher Education, Blade Nzimande, also mentioned at the meeting that we are not a traditional research university. What made us different from day one is we strive to get learners placed in the market, sorry. So that is our main core aspect that we focus on. It doesn't help to teach them what does the word marketing mean, and when they go out they do not know how to practically apply anything. That's why we have subjects like professional selling, where we teach them practical skills in class as well, how to sell a project, how to handle objections, all that type of things. We've got marketing research, we've got a lot of subjects but all of them have a practical component to prepare them. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir. Prof. Mornay.
Thank you, Elisma. Thank you very much. Always nice listening to your presentations and your voice. I just have 3 quick points I just wanted to get your views on. Firstly, if we look at really look at the uncertainty around COVID-19, and I think that's a national challenge that we currently have because various universities are faced with the same lack of planning around what's going to happen next year, especially after the festive season, you know, if a second wave could hit. I was wondering, from a planning perspective, wouldn't it be more advisable, you know, to really seriously consider rather planning the whole 2021 as a blended approach for all forms of teaching rather than to take it on a almost month-to-month basis? Do you think that taking that type of stance could, at least on a 6-month basis, secure sustainability so that you know what to expect in terms of your own planning? Because if you go blended and it ends up going all well, which we all hope for, it's easier to go into just the normal face-to-face mode. But once you maybe decide to go just face-to-face and you ultimately have to get back into blending, it could become a challenge. That's the first point, so I want you to comment on that. Secondly, I was just wondering, I've looked at your various curriculum that on documents that you sent through, and I was wondering if you could just quickly, briefly, you don't have to go into programs, just give me some feedback as to whether your department feels that the current content as it stands still reflects industry needs, at least for the 2021-2023 period. And then finally, I just want to ask you, your practical work-related projects, assignments, or anything that students do for companies, which you might interpret as work integrated learning, is that specifically applied at third-year level and postgraduate level, or do you bring that in earlier in your curriculum? If you could just give some brief feedback on those 3 points, please.
Thank you, Prof. Yes. First of all, we already basically decided to still go the route of blended for next year, because at the end of the day, TUT did apply at the Department of Higher Education and CHE, SACWAN, whatever, to get permission to offer to this, but for blended. So we got the permission from them as well to offer it like this, because we are contact university, we had to reapply for it. So at the end of the day, because the year is only like 8 months next year, because our academic year starts in April only, it would be advisable for us all. We already had these discussions within the department to keep, for instance, the blended approach, because it's uncertainty. Again, for now everything is fine, but in like we all have experienced, like suddenly everything can change, so we have to be able to adapt. And I'm a very forward thinking type of person. I need to know what's happening. I'm like, I don't want to take, I rather be prepared for the future. So that's what we are planning on doing. And we are also in the discussion of maybe keeping the continuous assessments, because we applied for it only for this year, to keep our assessments as continuous assessments, no written exams. But it might be also advisable maybe to keep it continuous for next year as well, just for the 2021, seeing it so short. So that's the first part that I want to add. And then the current conflict, remember, things change. So especially where we have, I can make maybe an example of digital marketing, to stay of what changes taking place in the industry. And at least with the fact that we can change a certain percentage of our curriculum, that we have a bit of leeway. And that is why we have these type of engagements with industry, to help us, to guide us, to say, you know what, this is the new trends that we need to follow. Rather leave this part out and focus on this, because this is what you guys need for to cope in the job market these days. So no, I won't say it's currently fine for the next 3 years. I really think we have to adapt some of the things just to stay. There's no new changes that took place, especially in like online and shopping, for instance, retailing. A lot of things have changed, so we have to adapt our curriculum as well. The old ways are gone. This is the new normal. And yes, currently we offer our work integrated learning on the 3rd year level, 4th and 5th year level. For instance, with regards to the postgraduate diplomas as well, we have certain companies for that they prepare business plans for in the postgraduate diploma and marketing, for instance, as well. So it's more on your higher levels that we introduce these type of things. Although on your 1st and 2nd year, we have your case participation that still come and speak to the students and stuff like that, and we try to bring it in with cases in the classroom, that type of things, but not intensive like we do as a credit bearing module on the 3rd year and other levels. Does that answer your question, Mornay?
Yes, thank you, Lisma, thank you very much, thank you.
On that note, Mornay, do you think that it's still needed? Is marketing research needed on a 3rd year level? I'm not talking research methodology, I'm talking marketing research.
Well, yeah, definitely. In our curriculum, we brought it in at undergraduate level around 5 years ago, a broad orientation around the concept, the different themes, the application areas, because we must never ever forget that students exit at 3rd year level. And then one of the biggest trends in industry in the field of marketing is research. And big data, the different spheres within big data, the whole research survey game and different forms of research data gathering, which has become big business all over the world, implies that at least a student has an understanding of marketing research principles, changing consumer trends, how to understand it, how to be aware of these understanding, how to think around implementing these changes into new product development. Definitely, our industry advisory board in 2015 already advised us to bring it back into undergraduate level, which we did. And we've been following that route ever since, with very positive feedback from our industry advisory board, to great success. And also, those students that move into NQF 8 or the postgraduate level, the honours or the postgraduate diplomas, although they might have an NQF level 8 marketing research module, the basis has already been solidly laid down at undergraduate level, which helps the understanding, the creative thinking, and the in-depth analysis required at undergraduate level. So yes, definitely, absolutely. I would really be quite disappointed if it's not in the curriculum, because we are sending thousands of students into the market, of which the marketing research industry is one. Fast-moving consumer good industries employ marketing students in their product and research and development units. So they need to have a basic understanding of marketing research when they exit, for sure.
Thank you, Prof. I see there's some nice comments as well coming through, so keep it up, you guys. This is the new way of technology, commenting, all that type of things. So I want to ask the next question. I have a question for Mr. Fani Mokoena. He's the Director of Recreation at the Gauteng Department of Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation. Mr. Mokoena, are you online? Fani? Just push the unmute button if maybe. Okay, I guess he's not in yet. Then can I ask Jan Volker, Dr. Jan Volkert, as an education specialist in your field, in the Netherlands, what type of education trends have you identified, or new digital tools or whatever have you identified within your environment?
Well, there are a lot of trends currently, but you already spoke a little bit about it, all these online tools that we are seeing to try to cope with the COVID situation and the lockdowns, which we also had over here. One of the trends that I see in my university, but you were also addressing it a little bit, like the continuous assessment, which I think is much nicer than our traditional way of assessment, like you have a course for a few weeks and then you go to the exam hall and then you sit and you write your exam and you hope you have succeeded. But I think the continuous assessment can be much more valuable, especially in your situation where you're very much work orientated, and that's a much more favorable way of assessment than the rather theoretical written exam approach. So I definitely would favor that. What I was a little bit concerned when I watched your programs, and I'm not sure if that is answered by your presentation that you said you are work integrated learning. What I see in really in your type of education, what we try to do in the Netherlands, and it's, I think, is really start from the beginning, not so much with theory, but more with problems, projects, work issues, and let the theory follow the problems instead of starting with a theory course and then have a nice problem. And I'm not very sure if that is really integrated in your program. I couldn't really see that. And the final thing I would like to address is it's also in your vision or mission about interdisciplinary approach. And that's what I see, especially in the research universities, but I think also in the more applied universities, there is a high demand for people, especially on the higher levels, who are able to connect different disciplines to learn from each other and to integrate these kind of things. And I was wondering where that is in your program.
I've got Prof. Roo here with me, Dr. Volker, just hold on.
Well, I think interdisciplinary is, we have to define what you mean with this, but from my perspective is I'm in the research field, so I do interdisciplinary research ranging from leadership, and it's very closely integrated with the communication within a company and to the external stakeholders. And then also, so from a research perspective, we try and do not work in isolation. So we work in different disciplines, although we do have to have a focus area. And then what we do is, because we have in our department, we have the retail program as well as the marketing supply chain. So in terms of that, they are highly integrated. So we try and see where we can work together to give a better student. So I hope that answered your question.
Are you satisfied with the answer, Jan Volker?
For the moment, yes, I would love to go in more details, but this is not a place for that.
Okay, great stuff. And thank you for assisting me as well with the mission vision and the stuff at the beginning of the year as well to finalize and formulate it better. The next question I have is for Dr. Yves Genon. He is the current president of the French South African Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and his role is strengthening economic ties between France and South Africa. Are you here, Dr. Yves?
Yes, thank you so much. First of all, thank you for this very nice advisory board, and also for the good question. Just one point, I am not an people working or all my life in university. I am an engineer. I did a PhD in physics, and all my life I have been in industry. And I think what is important is what you call and I call cross-cultural actions. Not only the studies. I think studies are very important, mainly when you are located in South Africa. Africa has different culture. I'd say a lot of languages, but different culture. And I think I was yesterday with the president at the summit, and I think it's important to consider South Africa not only as the hub of South Africa or the hub of Southern Africa, but the hub of Africa. And I think it's important for your student to have a cross-cultural vision of all Africa, the Anglophone Africa, the Francophone Africa, but also to understand better what we need in the continent. The continent will develop with Africans for Africa, or continue to exchange between ourselves, and is what we are doing. And I think I saw on one of your slides you spoke about the French company L'Oréal, and it's a good question. Why L'Oréal is working with you? Why L'Oréal has decided to have a research center in Johannesburg? Because a very simple thing, our hairs are not all the same. Don't think about mine because I have no more, but the hair of African people are not the hairs of European people. And in the past, people was working for USA from Europe. Now we understand that we have also to, in brackets, localize what we are doing. And for me, it's really important that for all African people, but also for all other people, what we are doing here is important. The point also is studies are very important. For me, what is missing, because I know the country since a long, long time, and I'm living here, and I decide to stay there, is really to push more internship. Because I have been an engineer, I saw what we are doing, and today, in the engineer school in France, you are obliged to go for an internship outside of France because it's where you learn. Okay, I don't like the arrogance of people, whatever they are European, French, American, and so on, when they never move from their country and they explain to you what the world has to do. I think when you have been in other country, you work in different country, you realize that we are the same, but not exactly the same, and we have to take that into account. And I think what I have seen in South Africa is and I will try to help how we can do more internship with foreign companies or company located in South Africa, obviously, but also having research or companies in other parts of Africa, just for your student to be able to understand the different culture. And I think for me, it's really a key point, and it's missing. And what my colleagues in industry are telling, what I saw myself, and what my colleagues are telling me is the students are not bad, they are good, the students, but it's really sometimes it's missing something. And I think the internship in a company, and not necessarily the final years, it can be done in different years with a small internship of 1 month. The first year, after that, a little bit longer and longer, will really help for them to understand what is the real life. And as it has been told before, not to arrive on a job without understanding what is the industry, not what they have to do because you provide them but what is the industry, what people are waiting from them. And what I will try to do, if we will discuss Elisma, is to try to see if I can have some of the bosses of a French company in the country. We did it already in TUT last year, but this year it has been obviously cancelled due to the COVID. But try to see if we can do lecturers, to have lecturers explaining what industry is looking for. And I think it can be very useful for the student.
Thank you, Dr. I appreciate it. And yes, definitely we will collaborate. And this is just the first start of a great discussion. I see Prof. Makita from University of South Africa, UNISA, also added the word Africanization. And that is something that I've learned from them while engaging and collaborating with them as well. And Prof. Makita, to answer your question, no, not really. We have to add it, Africanization, like Dr. Eve just mentioned. We need to bring in Africa, how to deal with Africa, how to understand the culture, differences in the different countries within Africa as well. So that is something that we really need to add to our curriculum as well. And with regards to your question about brand management and digital marketing, we do offer it in our qualifications in undergraduate. It's incorporated in our subjects and modules, but we have in our marketing, we have specialization areas where students can either go into professional selling, where they can specialize in, or integrated brand communication management, or digital marketing on an advanced diploma and postgraduate level. Speaking about that, Andile, I want to ask you a question. I see you have some information that you've added there, but you are like a high shot guy at the best company with the nicest drinks, ABI Coca-Cola, and you're a former alumni student. Can you briefly tell us now, with everything in sales and whatever in general, if you look at retail, marketing, supply chain processes, how would you say, which type of aspect skills do our students actually need?
Greetings, everyone. Well, as you know, I mean, I work for one of the most competitive industries, but the biggest challenge facing now in the industry is that a lot of graduates, when they come in, firstly, the one thing that worries me a lot with the graduates is that data analytics skills, we are lacking that. And when during their diploma or postgrad, what they often do is, yes, we do the end-use computing. I don't think students make an effort to understand how to fully utilize Excel and PowerPoint, because those two tools are used religiously in our trade. And we get a lot of data from external agencies and also from internal surveys and data that we pull from market share to understanding pricing. So it becomes tough for a lot of guys to interpret that data. They just see numbers with an Excel sheet that has a lot of data, and they don't know how to summarize that and put it in a better presentable content, which I feel that is something that a lot of students, especially the higher they go, that they must know how to do that. When they do a research, after research, how do you gather your data and present it in a more formalized and professional manner? That is one skill that I feel it's lacking within the industry. And number two, and we're facing the something that everybody has elaborated on, the digital fever that has hit very hard on us, that we need to adapt very, very, very quickly. And it's very critical that our students need to understand the digital business holistically, the impact of it, what it does to the market, and how, and also understand how our consumers and customers are responding towards that, and what are new things that they could introduce to make, as you know, we've got a lot of markets where digitalization is still going to take a bit of a while. But how do we bridge that gap between those markets? Within the space of the formal market, things seem to be stabilizing, but within the informal market, there's a huge challenge. So those are the two things that I just, for the sake of time, that I would like to just highlight for this platform.
Thank you, Andile. We will definitely have a nice cold Coke and discuss this one further. Speaking about digital, changes that we experience, we've got Mr. Bernard Odendaal from the Fact Foundry. I know we're going a bit over time, you guys, but please bear with me. I think we've got very good industry leaders here on this board as well. So Bernard, if you can tell us, like Andile just mentioned, that it's very important that we need to think out of the box and different route of not just PowerPoint, Excel, that type of things. What other additional tools, digital tools, do you think we need to have in order to survive, especially our students now?
Thank you, Doctor. From what I've seen in real world, getting students prepared for the workplace, you have to also focus on the soft skills of being a good digital citizen. We see that young people in their youth sometimes behave quite badly in the digital space, whether it's on places like Facebook or TikTok, etc. And that later on comes back to bite them. We all use digital background checks on people we want to employ. And then sometimes things come up which might be problematic, especially if you start to work in the digital marketing space with students who apply for jobs to work in that space. You want people who fits the image of the company and might not come and put the company in disrepute. So I think from the perspective of where I come from and the experience that I have, is that one of the first things that students should actually be taught is not the skills to work applications, but the skill set to work themselves, so to speak, in the digital space. And that also includes things like basic safety. When you start to work with things like e-commerce, which we in this lockdown period we've all moved more online with what we buy and what we sell. But there's a lot of safety concerns around e-commerce as well, where we have to teach people how to safely conduct business on the internet. And I think those soft skills are essential moving forward. We tend to think that it's just about a Facebook profile, but getting somebody, for example, to have, even as a student, to have a proper LinkedIn profile, for example, which will stand them in good stead going forward. How to set up a proper profile like that, the use of language, how you express yourself on those digital platforms. And I foresee that the world will move more digitally, not less. And I think this time that we've been through, especially with the lockdowns, have showed us that actually very few of us are well prepared to interact as digital citizens. And if I could give a name to it, is how do you become a good digital citizen? Not only from an academic point of view and conducting yourself in that space, but also conducting yourself in your personal space and going forward. So I would definitely like to see not only teaching people the mechanics of how to work with a PowerPoint, but also teaching somebody how to actually conduct a proper presentation, which is an essential soft skill along with those technical skills. So My 2 cents worth is teach the soft skills as early on as.
Thank you, Bernard, for that insightful information. I mean, you guys worked a lot with Google and you got the contract to train all the people around the world, in South Africa as well. So really appreciate that input as well. We'll talk further on this matter as well, because it's very important. I agree with you. Then speaking of information that we need to also look at, if you look at this citizenships, as you said, at how we need to behave ethically and that type of things, or in general online. Dr. Lohalenke Lewis, you are on as well, and I want a question for you. Looking at our current law curriculum that we offer to our students, it covers the principles like contracts such as sale, lease agreements, insurance contract, employment contract, the National Credit Act, the Consumer Act, Protection Act. What additional aspects, if you look at it from a law perspective, would you recommend that we can add to our programs, specifically the law module?
Thank you, Elisma, for a wonderful PowerPoint presentation. It was very interesting, and I followed the debate from all over the world with interest. Thank you for the opportunity. I have perused your curriculum, and only 1 or 2 aspects that I could criticize or maybe suggest to add to your current curriculum as far as that is concerned. You've mentioned all the most important aspects, but I would really like to see also something regarding the Electronic Communications and Transactions Act, specifically Act 25 of 2002, maybe. In addition to that, I couldn't find anything regarding the Protection of Personal Information Act 4 of 2013, the so-called POPI Act, which is very relevant these days. And I think that should form an integral part of your curriculum. And the last comment I might make a suggestion is regarding the Code of Advertising Practice as the Advertising Standards Authority of South Africa, which I could not find in the curriculum. Those are the 3 aspects that I could find that maybe should be addressed and be included in your curriculum.
Thank you very much, Lewis. See, you did your research, or no, let me rather say you know your law quite well. Then the next question I want to pose to Enrico du Plessis, the chairperson of the Marketing Association of South Africa. Enrico, from your perspective, may I ask you, what can graduates do to ensure continuous professional development once they enter the industry?
Thank you very much, Dr. Warnberg. Thank you for inviting me here today, and again, echoing all the sentiments about the presentation and the input. I think the first thing from our perspective is that we want people, as soon as they enter the job market, to become certified as professionals. And as you might know by now, we have designations, professional designations at an operational, tactical, and a strategic level, which is at operational, the associate marketer level, which is applicable to the student specifically. And MASA, as the professional body, has taken the decision to allow all students at this stage to waive the administrative fee when they apply for the AMSA certification, professional designation certification at that level once they exit the university, or once they've done their undergraduate, completed their undergraduate qualification, NQF level 5 and up, and all your students are above that. So once they enter that space, then they're part of the professional circle, and they have to enter as a requirement to stay certified to the continued professional development route. And there, the industry, through our professional designation board and our continuous professional development panel, will guide them consistently on what it is that's required of them to stay current in their applied skill and competence and knowledge as expected by the industry. And that is, of course, tested whether they've done that on a biannual basis through the CPD cycle and CPD record cards that they need to submit. So I think that is certainly the most focused way for students when they leave university to enter that certified professional space, and then automatically become part of the universe that guide them on continuous professional development, which of course might and will include material from all education and training institutions and other accredited providers throughout industry.
Thank you, Enrico. Appreciate it. And yes, we will still talk about how the role that you'll play next year with the work integrated learning for our third years with the credit bearing qualification. Then I just want to ask Päivi from Finland. You are like the digital tool expert. What nice digital tools can you provide us, or give us a name of some nice tool that you found that we can incorporate in our teaching practices? Because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have known what is Poplet or Padlet or none of those things. So please, Päivi.
Dr. Lebo here, she seems to have left the meeting from what I'm seeing.
No.
I think
okay. Okay, great stuff, no problem. Is there anything else that I've missed? Somebody else who want to like it? I know I went over my time, I apologize for that, but it was quite an insightful and good meeting, so I didn't want it to stop. So Lebo, just check for me, is there anybody else in the chat maybe that asked a question, or let me rather say that wanted to ask a question they couldn't ask or whatever?
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Prof. Treverson, yeah, from Italy, yes.
Okay, yes, I wanted to ask a couple of things. First of all, obviously, it was a very good presentation. It was interesting. So I've seen that you have managed to face the problems in a very proactive way. So my compliments for that. And my question, first question is about the activity that you do with the companies. This is something that I'm doing too in my courses. And I wonder if there is any international dimension to the tasks that companies give to you or to your students. This because I have companies, you know that Italy is quite export oriented. A lot of small companies are interested in foreign markets, some of them even to the South African market, obviously. And so that could be some interesting potential area of cooperation. And that is the first question. Another question is about blended teaching.
Yeah.
We have tried, we limited it to the first because we wanted to have them at least feel to be people and not just faces on the screen. But then there were some problems, and lately, as you may have noticed, Italy has gone through the second wave in a pretty bad way. So we had some students who tested positive, so we had to stop the blended learning, blended teaching. How do you think it is going on this? How easy it is doing blended learning, blended teaching, particularly from our side. And third, last question, do you use simulations, business games in your teaching? Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Yes, with regards to if there's international type of links to our simulation or work integrated learning, yes, it is. We, like for instance, what we did with L'Oréal, except the fact that I love red lipstick and that is why we are involved with them. Just kidding. Anyway, is the fact that they ask us to develop. It's called Brandstorm. It's a competition they have with regards to the students to develop a specific initiative or it can be a product, it can be an advertising campaign with regards to their international, it's locally and international type of campaigns that we need to develop for them, or a new product that's environmental friendly. Like in the beginning of the year, they came to our students and they need to develop a type of product that is the packaging, how to change from plastic to paper or something like that. But I don't know if Jaco Foster is still online. He's our competitor at AAA School of Advertising, and they actually won. So, but yes, we bring in all these type of things within but not all of the companies are international big companies. It's more your local businesses as well that we're involved in our work integrated learning. With regards to the blended learning, yes, if life change again and we have to go back God forbid, to lock down again, then we'll have to go online. Because for the 6 months that we've been on whatever, during lockdown, we were fully online. So if we have to go that route, then we can do that. With regards to simulation games, no, we don't have it yet, but that's why we have a nice colleague at University of Johannesburg, Mariette Fraser, that have a nice retail game that we are in discussions with her as well to bring in something like that, the simulation games. But that's something that we are actually sitting now in a high-tech unit of TUT called Digicom that create opportunities for that, so that we can actually design games for our students. So that is the way forward. We're not there yet, Prof, but we are getting there. So yeah, I see Tammy's computer says your is about to restart. So I think, you guys, this is the message to say that we need to maybe close this meeting. All the comments that we received in the chat box, I'm definitely going to reply to each and every one of you personally via email. And yeah, we can also meet up for a coffee or whatever with our masks on, of course, and then we can continue this discussion. I really appreciate all of your time, and each of you that are here today. You play a vital role within the Department of Marketing, Supply Chain and Sport Management. And for the staff also, and Mr. Albert Sikubela, I see you also here, our employability officer. Thank you for participating in today's meeting. And it was actually an interesting online meeting, I must say. It wasn't boring or any of those type of things. So we'll do it maybe next year again. So from my side, Elisma, have a lovely day. And if you want to switch on your cameras and you want to say hello, whatever, you're more than welcome to do so. Yeah, let me find.
Much appreciated, Doc. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, Prof. Italov.
Hi, Elisma. Nice hearing you at least.
Volker, stop eating. You're eating.
Bye-bye, Elisma.
Hello, Bernard.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Nice seeing you, Rosalind, as well. Enrico as well.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Dr. Wannabeck. Goodbye.
Thanks, Prof. Makita. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Louis, we will as well communicate again. Louis van Heijsteen.
Thank you, Doc.
Communicate with him. He's busy with that email and it's progressing. Don't worry about that.
Thanks, Doc.
Glad to see you.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah. Bye, Nuri. See all of the, yeah. Mr. Steve Burt as well.
Hi. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. I'm happy about our paper that's been published. That's good news.
Yeah, very good news.
Yes, indeed.
I'll see you around.
Oh, definitely. Okay, Nuri, take care. Okay. Just remember, if you leave, that you leave the meeting. Otherwise, you will still have us online the whole day. Lebuki, you're also looking good.
I'm between this and Hagahelia, the t-shirt trainer.
Yeah, I'm on my way back now to the other faculty board meeting now. So yeah, still I ran away a bit, but it went well. Yes,
yeah.
It was beautiful.
Hey, another one, hey?
Yes, thank you for
your
input.
So what I'll do, I'll follow up with everyone from my side.
Okay, great.
And yeah, there was a lot of interesting inputs and a lot of reflections as well as to how to kind of benchmark ourselves and position ourselves.
Absolutely.
Especially our students. It's just a pity we did not get to chat with Roz and Dave from the mentorship movement, but we will
meet up afterwards with her. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I think let's prioritize that. I'm going to be back in office properly tomorrow.
100%.
So let's try to do that. But
great.
Well done.
Thank you to you. Thank you for everything as well. Take care, Daisy Key, as well. Let me go to my faculty board meeting. Okay, everybody. Bye.
Bye.